They're still waiting on stuff to finish.
Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the October 27th, 2025 Board of Select Persons meeting. We are starting the meeting at 6:30. I look for a motion to enter into an executive session, or sorry, two executive sessions under 36 MRSA 841.
There's a motion, we go into executive session.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? We are in executive session. Good evening and welcome back to the October 27th, 2025 Board of Select Persons meeting. The time is 7:01. We are out of executive session. Please join me in the flag salute. I look for a motion to accept the warrants.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? All right. Should we do this now? I make a motion that we approve abatement A and we hold off on abatement B until next week.
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion to second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right. Would somebody read the announcements, please?
Okay, the town clerk and tax collector will be closed on Fridays at noon for the remainder of the year. The budget committee will meet on Wednesday, October 29th at 7 p.m. The select board will hold a public hearing at the fire station on Monday, November 3rd at 7 p.m. for the property of 3 Division Road. The public is urged to attend. The November vote will be on Tuesday, November 4th from 8 to 8 p.m. at the Municipal Building in the Media Room. The Historical Society will be selling lots of yummy goodies. The Planning Board will meet on Wednesday, November 5th at 7 p.m. and the Select Board will meet on Monday, November 10th at 7 p.m. The Select Board is looking for members to join a comprehensive committee. If interested, please contact Alicia at 793-4475 or selectboardadmin@limerickme.org. There will be a flu clinic on Tuesday, November 18th here at the Municipal Building in the Media Room from 10 to 3 with a lunch break from 12 to 1. The forms are available at the Municipal Building ahead of time and on town website. As part of the hearing of citizens policy, no personal attacks on any individual or firm, including town employees, town officials, or members of the public, will be tolerated during any meetings. Please direct concerns about individual employees or town officials to the chairman of the Board of Select Persons outside the public meeting. Please stay current with town information by visiting www.limerickme.org.
Perfect, thank you. We do have Demetra Pellegrino for department reports, but I do not see her yet, where she is coming.
I don't
So,
think she was looking to put on a food drive, but had asked for some, I don't know, she wanted to do it at the election, but she said today that she saw the rec department is putting one on, so she's just gonna support that one instead of doing a separate one.
alrighty. We will move on to old business. Review of legal accounts. There was no legal bill on the warrant. Review of policies, update of the select board meeting agenda policy. I don't know if anybody had changes to that. I reviewed that one. I looked at the agenda this morning. I reviewed that one. I kind of made a few recommendation changes. Do we all have a copy of this?
You have it, it's probably in the back.
Okay.
The one that Brady presented is in the very back of your folder.
And so we can take this and review it, but basically it's the same. It would just be changing the agenda outline. I've seen other towns, I've done some research, other towns, this agenda seems to work better for them. Works good, kind of keeps it in flow. And so I think maybe we should move to that, but we can review that and come back to that next week because it is kind of a lengthy little document. Did anybody else have any other changes on that? I hear none. So we'll review that and come back next week again. Update of policy of exhibit financial reports. Was this something new?
This is completely new.
Okay. Has everybody had a chance to review this? Okay. I have not had a chance to review it. I don't know if anybody else has a motion on if we want to accept it or not.
Did everybody else say they have? I know you weren't here last week, but
Looking at it, I mean, skimming through it briefly, it seems like it's needed, so.
well, we got it last week, so,
We got the week before,
2 weeks ago?
that's 3 weeks right
Okay.
now. Don't get technical or anything. Do like to keep these moving along. So this is completely new, it's put together by Gail. Definitely, if you look at it, it's certainly, there are things on here that are very well needed.
So is there a motion to sign the policy into order?
I think it's only fair where, I know you haven't seen it, and Howard says he hasn't seen it. I don't think one more week's gonna kill us at this point.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's, some of these things where it says that everything gets emailed to the select board administrator, why can't it come? That's just an extra step for her to forward them. So I would, if we're gonna make some changes, they could email them to the board and the select board administrator perhaps, so she doesn't have to forward them.
Yeah.
Just small things, but
Yeah.
other than that, I think it's right on board.
All right. Is there anything new on the municipal parking lot paving?
We're just waiting for the engineering firm to update. They gave us a conceptual plan. We saw some things we didn't like in it. We had a meeting with them last week, and they're supposed to come back within a couple weeks with another plan.
Okay.
Then we have to, if we like it, we hold a public meeting, let people look at it, and then we decide what to go on with, either to do the survey and give us a cost estimate of the project. That's where we're at right now.
Perfect. I will move on to the purchase order policy. Howard, is there any?
Cleaned up that purchase order. I saw where I made one error in there. And on the purchase policy itself, there's one thing that I think would solve all the questions that people had as far as, and how many POs they had to issue. If we go with, create a open PO accounts, basically what that does is, I'll use the fire department. If they've got an account with, let's say, I don't know where they get the drugs, Maine Med or,
Boundary Medical.
okay. If they send one PO for a certain amount to that company, all they'd have to do is call in the order and give that PO number, and that amount's going to be deducted automatically until it gets to the point where that amount of the PO is depleted. Then they can add to it if it's lower than what their budget amount is. So that just does more and just gives some more flexibility as opposed to making out a purchase order for every little thing you buy.
Okay. There's still a meeting happening about this, right?
You need to reschedule it.
Okay.
We need a new date.
I mean, I saw in the warrant today, there was a bill for the fire department for a truck repair. And the invoice was there with everything on it. And then whoever did the PO, which I'm assuming they're just trying to be extra careful, relisted every part. 6 bolts, $6.85, 2 elbows. I mean, if we're gonna kill ourselves in labor time, if that's the type of thing we're looking for. So, I mean, if that's the way they're coming through, somebody took a lot of time to recreate that bill on the purchase order, which makes no sense to me.
So the meeting needs to be rescheduled from,
Do we need a new meeting? It was supposed to be tomorrow.
is there another date that works for everybody? We can just pick one. It's with, I wasn't here. I just saw an email come through about it. It's with department heads and the budget committee, correct?
I've already told Alicia what days I'm available, work around my schedule, so.
Okay.
I believe it was, there are 2 Thursdays and 2 Fridays, if I remember correctly. And I would vouch away from Fridays, but. A budget meeting, I was said you would have to meet earlier than the budget meetings on Thursdays. 10:30, 11:06, 7, 13, and 14. So, unless you're meeting a lot earlier, the budget committee meetings start at 7.
How long do you think the meeting's gonna take? Do you know?
I don't think long.
I'm just wondering if we can
Depends
schedule it
how
for,
long somebody's gonna keep on beating on things, that's all. I would give it an hour or no more.
I mean,
I don't even think it'll take that long.
I mean, you can do 6 o'clock, I think that's fine, I just, if you're gonna do on Thursday, I just think you want, just have to meet earlier, that's all.
yeah, let's do, does this
So the
Thursday?
6th,
Alright.
well, the 13th or the 14th probably, and then that will give enough time for people to plan.
Let's do the 13th at 6. Does that work for people?
I'll put a message back there.
That is. All right. Gail, is there any update on Deep Vale? Okay.
In the back, CDBG drawdown.
Why is it out of order?
It's not on the agenda, it's just, well, sorry. Because it's just you, so.
Okay. Bernie, is there any update on the fire station drain?
Yes, this will be the last discussion of this issue. It has been repaired, and everybody's happy with it. The abutting property owner is absolutely ecstatic about it, so we can put that to rest.
You want me to take it off?
Take it off. Take it off.
There is nothing new on the main model franchise update. Heat pumps for the 3 town buildings.
Okay. Because we narrowed it down last week, and there was one building that wasn't bid apples for apples, I called up Sunversion, and they provided me with an update of changing that from, I think it was 9,000 BTU to 15, and we've got the revised bid so that everybody's bidding apples for apples.
We have last week's bid.
Brady has them.
I have them right here.
Can I see some visions?
I will say, going through them, it looks like Sunversion includes electrical, and the other ones do not.
All the units come with a 12-year warranty.
So what needed to be changed from last week to this
Well,
week?
On Sunbird, he had put down 9,000 BTU, and I guess everybody else was told 15, or that's the way it came through anyway. And so just to get that changed, so we're bidding apples for apples, I called him and just told him he had to give us a price for 15. I didn't say any prices or anything else, so just told him what we needed, and that's what he provided me with, so.
All right, well, is there a motion on the table for how we move forward?
I make a motion, we award the bid to Sunversion for the amount of $20,731 for all three buildings.
Is there a second?
Just for the record,
Yeah.
I will abstain. For all these reasons.
Yeah. I'll second for the purpose of discussion. I would obviously like to give it to a local company. However, not knowing how much the power is going to cost with Sunversion's power being included and the other bids not having power included, I would be leaning more towards going with Sunversion for that reason only. But then that also brings up the issue, you know, they're not bidding apples for apples. If,
What size of units they
yeah, but I don't
Well,
know, I
you
don't.
really, if you're gonna do apples for apples, you should put it back out to Howland's heat pumps and ask them to include electrical,
And
which we
the
didn't
other
do.
two, yeah.
Like, now you're like, we're bidding and now we're going back to contractors, like.
Yeah, I don't,
They were allowed to.
I'm just
they
saying,
were
apples to
they were
apples, his
allowed to
doesn't
revamp
include
their
electrical
contract.
because he knows we have an electrician within the town. So he is cheap, he is the cheapest without electrical. Maybe he would still be the cheapest with electrical. So if you're doing apples for apples, then you gotta,
yeah, you know, we're, I don't know if nitpicky is the word, but we asked them to update their estimate for the size of the unit. But they include power, the three others don't include power. It either wasn't stated or Sunversion just included power because they thought they were supposed to. But I mean, I don't know. And it's one of those things now, it's after the fact, you know, we went back to a company last week after we had read the numbers on air and got updated numbers. So I don't think that's fair. I think,
No matter how you look at it, if they're not quoting electric, those numbers are gonna be higher.
correct, but
how much was the bid for electrical?
I don't think
For this one?
for Sunversion,
It's not broken out, like just electrical, it just says it.
Sean,
Sean Carroll, I'm with JP Carroll Fuel Company. First of all, I was asked about the warranty last week. I apologize for not having that off the top of my head. The warranty for the units we quoted, if they're registered within 60 days of install, it's 10 years parts, 10 years on the parts and on the condensing unit. If you don't register it, it's 7 on parts, 10 on the condensing unit. One of the things that we like about the Samsung units that the Mitsubishi units don't offer, they do offer it, but it's an add-on, which is an expense, is that they come Wi-Fi capable. So you can, with your smartphone, you can control the units, see if they're on, see that they've been left on. So it's an added thing that we like, and that's why we kind of back and go with the Samsung units. As an aside, I will say that, you know, we've always done well and right by the town forever. You know, whether it's calls in the middle of the night, coming down and doing work, quoting jobs. You know, my brother and I installed an oil tank at the old brick town hall. The town never got a bill for it. They needed it. We installed it. We never gave a bill. It was, I find it highly inappropriate and unprofessional if, I'll put this as gently as possible, if members of the select board would prefer not to use us and to go back to a company to get items of their bill requoted and not go back to the rest of us who quoted it, because you're not talking apples, pardon me, you're not talking, go ahead.
The only reason, Sean, that I went and asked back to Sunversion was that figure of that size of unit, that's all.
Did you go to the rest of us and say,
No, because you had it all listed. You had, all those other ones were right. His was the only one for the transfer station that was smaller. And so you all quoted the larger units. I asked him, I said, quote it with, will you give me a price to quote it with a larger unit, so everybody's on the same playing field? And that's
So-
what he did.
if I may? So their quote was different than ours. They had the same information, they quoted a different unit. That's what they went with. So if you had gone with them, they would have a smaller unit in that building. You did not go to the rest of us who didn't quote electrical and offer us the same courtesy and say, yours don't, apples to apples, yours includes electrical. What would it be if yours don't include electrical? What would it be if yours did include electrical?
Well,
That's only fair. And I just feel that that is just not right and it's not fair. And I don't care if you use us or not. I prefer to do business with the town. You know, we live here, we work here, we'd like to do the work. If we don't get the job, we'll be fine and we won't treat the town any differently. But I find that highly unprofessional.
one question for you. How do you quote a job and not figure in electrical when you're working with electrical units?
I don't
Because
think that's a fair, I mean,
it's
you
a
can
license.
answer it, but
It's a
I,
license, I can answer, I got no
No,
problem
I'm just saying
answering that.
3 of the
So
4
we
didn't.
do what we are licensed to do. So I can go from the disconnect to the unit, and we will run the wire, and we will make the electrical connection. Putting the disconnect outside takes a licensed electrician. I don't have a licensed electrician on staff, and so that must be done by somebody else. So we generally contract a local electrician, and we have them run the power from the board, from the panel to a disconnect at the location of the inverter. We then take it from there and connect to the unit, because that's what we're licensed to do.
So it would only be hooking it up on the outside of the house.
That would be going from the disconnect to the unit.
all right, is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Sun version, going with Sun version. All those in favor? All those opposed? And abstaining. All right, so that does not pass. I think now we need to decide what we do. If we go back out to bid fully with a bid specification sheet to these 4, if we put it back out in the shopper's guide. But if we're going to say apples to apples and they're not apples to apples, they do need to be apples to apples. But we also do need to, there's a deadline to spending this money, is that correct?
No, we've allocated the money. We're fine.
Okay. But I do think that we should do something about it sooner rather than later. So I would be for, I don't know, going to bid.
I
with
think
a
with the-
specification sheet.
With the information we have, I mean, I realize these are each individual items, so based on our purchasing policy, we could do 3 separate ones and not go out to bid, which is kind of what we did. I think we put it all together in one package and follow the bid specification that's in the purchase policy.
Yep.
And put together a bid specification and put it out to be rebid. And we can decide whether we want electrical included, not included. And we can maybe do a little research and pick a brand or an alternate or 2, you know, say either, quote, either A or B, or if you do an equivalent, you must put in some serious paperwork with it. I mean, these companies all quoted higher-end equipment, but there are certainly a lot of, I mean, you can buy these things on Amazon now, so there's a lot of other cheaper ones out there.
Why would you go with a cheaper one?
I don't want to go with the cheaper one.
I
What I'm saying is, I want to make sure that doesn't happen.
Then you specify what you want to put in,
Yeah.
either a Mitsubishi
Or a
model
Samsung.
number or a Samsung.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that's why I want to do that. But if we're going to put or equivalent, someone might have the opinion that a cheap one is equivalent. So that's why I think we shouldn't do it for equivalent. I would say we specify a unit and get it priced, or two.
Yeah. So we can work on a bid package for that and send it out like our policy states. I think that's the best way to go.
It's gonna be hard to get a fair price. Everybody knows everybody's
Everybody knows
price
that.
now. That's the problem. That's the only issue.
But every bid has to come here,
Yep.
Yeah.
not,
I understand that the board's position is to save the most money for the town, but for the record, I think it's a poor way of approaching this. You've got bids from companies. I would say choose a company. If it's not me, I'm not going to cry in my soup. I'd like the work. I'm here. I'm local. But if it's about the dollars, pick the cheaper company. But I think that this is a great way to save money for the town by putting stuff out to bid and then bringing it back and then sending it back out to bid a second time. But I think the way this has gone is it's bad optics for the town. So I would suggest that you make a choice and go with it. And if it's about the dollars, I understand. I don't win every bid that I propose, but I think that it's all aspects of contract negotiations, to me, and the way I was brought up, is price and other considerations. And I'm here, I'm gonna, stump for my company, and I think that we offer something that some of these companies may or may not offer, but I think they don't. We're local, we're here, we're a part of the community, and we've always been a part of the community. But I would encourage the board to choose a company with what you have. And if it's about dollars, I understand, and choose the cheapest company. But that's my 2 cents.
Joanne?
We did just what you're contemplating doing once with our door-to-door pickup, and it didn't go well. The second time it was put out, it cost the town about $50,000 more. So I kind of agree with Sean. Nobody knows what the bid price was on power, so why don't you just go to the other bidders and ask them to include power? I don't see anything wrong with that. Nobody knows what the first company put down for power, so go to the other companies, have them include the power, and then make your choice.
Yep.
Well, I guess I don't necessarily disagree. It's one company included power. I guess Sean's here. You could ask him if he'd be willing to include power. Get his answer and be done with it tonight.
Would you be willing to include power?
Yes.
Okay.
Again, yes, I will, but it's not fair to the other companies who bid who aren't here to answer that question. So yeah, I'll include power, and basically it generally runs a few $100 depending on the distance they have to run to a panel. So, I cringe at answering that question. I appreciate it, and I will. But again, in the interest of fairness to everybody involved, you have the numbers. They're quality companies from the companies I know of who are involved in this process, and I don't know them all, but you have the numbers. I would choose a company. And I can't stress enough, A, how much I do want to do the work for the town, but B, I'm a big boy. We have a company, we don't win all of our bids. So, do I want it? Yes. Am I a little bit jaded at how this has gone down and how some of the board has acted here? Absolutely. But I would encourage, again, the board to choose a company.
Gail?
When the revitalization committee reviewed the bids for Hollandville for the construction, We had 3 bids, and we did not recommend the lowest bid because we did not feel that it was the best value for the town. At our last meeting for Deepvale, we've put that in writing now. And that's how we will look at these companies, not just money, okay, but other reasons, and determine the best value. And these 3 companies were from, nobody was from Limerick, you know, it was people out there. It had nothing to do with that they were a resident of Limerick. It was the best value. And that's how we'll choose Deepvale, as a recommendation to you when we do it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, with that being said, is there a motion to pick a company for the heat pumps?
Are we back to square one again? No. What are we doing?
I make a motion to accept the bid from J.P. Carroll as written with what we've discussed.
I will second that. Is there any discussion?
We're not-
Like I said before, I know both personally and for the town, they have helped out tremendously. They're a local company, and I think it would be good to give it to them. So, all those in favor? Opposed? And abstaining? All right.
I will say from now on, if we're putting anything out to bid of this nature, that it is all written down and that everything is apples to apples and that we don't end up doing this again.
Why wasn't it done this time? We sent a janitor.
Send a janitor to unlock the doors for people to look at the buildings. What do you keep beating on? We sent a janitor. He
Where was the
unlocked
spec
the
sheet,
doors.
Sean?
This was something we asked, like an RFP, like we sent people out. Could you have written a spec sheet for these buildings? I can't, could you?
Based on what I know about heat pumps, because I own them.
We probably all own them. I mean, I don't know, everybody got a heat pump, I got one. Got heat pumps? I couldn't write the spec for it. I mean, we sent people out to look at the buildings and recommend, and clearly, as close as they.
It's very obvious that whatever I say, nobody's gonna listen to anyway. Okay? It's been proven here.
Because what you said was, we sent out a janitor, which is a farce of a statement. Because
And what did that janitor tell these people?
he opened the door and said, we want heat pumps in this building.
Right.
Now, let me ask you a question. As close as the bids were, clearly he did something right. Because these bids weren't that far off on the equipment. There was one piece of equipment there was a difference of opinion on. One piece. I'd rather have the professional look at the building and determine what we need versus having that janitor tell them what we need.
Joanne?
I was present when one of the companies, and I don't know who it was, I don't know which one it was. I don't believe it was,
Oh, it wasn't ours.
because Howard, you were with those people when they went down. It wasn't the Carrolls, so it was another company. They measured that building, they measured the windows, they measured the doors, they inquired about the insulation, they inquired about the electrical, and they had a formula to go by. They asked me if I had any concerns, and I said, yes, I had a concern because we had an air conditioner in there that ran full bore, and it couldn't keep up because the door is open and shut all day long. So I believe that they were all professionals. They should have done their measuring. They should have inquired about the insulation. And I know that that particular company did, but I don't know about the rest of them.
The one I took down did too. The one I took down did too.
Did they know where the electrical was?
He went and looked at it.
Huh?
He went and looked at it.
I don't know how they found it.
ask a question?
Yep.
So my name's Bud Finch, longtime resident, 20 years, taxpayer, good standing in this state, in this town. I want to know, was this a sealed bid process?
No,
Why?
because they were sent out because the policy didn't require for it, where there were 3 separate buildings and 3 separate jobs. The the purchase policy doesn't require that.
Okay, so you got all your bids, and you put everything out there so people could adjust their bids so they could get awarded the contract?
Can you repeat that?
You let everybody know what the bids were and what the companies were, and now you've allowed somebody to adjust their bids so they can get awarded the contract?
Well, no, we met last week,
I know, I watched.
and we said we were putting this off for a week so we could wait for some more information. I think one of the pieces of information was warranty. I don't remember if there was anything else, but I don't remember the reason we didn't, but we put it off to vote on this week. One of the people that submitted a bid apparently was approached by one of the select people to review their bid and change it. And they did.
That's not quite how it came across on TV last week.
How what came across?
The bid process that somebody supposedly solicited a bid and they gave
So
them
let's back this
information.
up. Alicia went out for bids. We asked Alicia to solicit bids from people. She did.
Except for one.
Howard on his own, my understanding, I believe he's told Alicia I believe he said that last week, that he told Alicia he was gonna get another bid.
I
But-
asked, hold on, wait a minute, I asked her to call Sunversion because they had done work for me and I'd like to see him bid. And,
When we called him, you had already contacted him and had the plan to meet,
because I called you, I asked you Monday and comes Friday, nobody had called.
I will go back to my text, but Isaac called him and you had already.
He called him Monday morning.
Oh, I can't help that. You gave me the name, and we,
2 bids were received through her office.
3, well,
3 bids were,
other companies.
bids, most of the bids were received directly through her office. Howard had one on his own last week.
And they weren't.
That's how they
until
were-
they were brought here. Like,
That's how they were delivered to this desk.
With respect, thank you for the bid. I appreciate it. J.P. Carroll Fuel Company rescinds their bid. This stinks. I can only imagine what the board will take, the beating will take, because of the way this went down. I don't feel right with the way it went down. I think that Howard going to this company and getting them to sharpen their pencil after our bids were already open.
No.
Hang on, you interrupted me before. Allow me to speak this time, sir. I think that stinks. I think me being asked to alter my bid when the other companies don't get the opportunity to alter theirs stinks. I respectfully, no hard feelings. I appreciate being given the work. Respectfully, I decline. Think maybe you should go minus J.P. Carroll's bid and choose the best bid that you have. Thank you.
We've already committed them, so I don't believe there was a deadline at this point, but I can find out. The end of 26 is what you're on.
It might be October, but
I know our next reporting is April, and at that point, they'll probably have an update. Did you call HVAC Services? Who put the one out in the vault?
the other ones
Quick question on this. You know, the whole process does smell of, you know, of corruption, I guess. Why can't, you're saying the money's already allocated, so it's not in a hurry to spend it. Why can't reach out to the 4 people that have already done their bid, resubmit it, including the electrical, specifying the size of head units, evaporate everything that you need, extend it out to Portland-based, Wyndham-based, you know, branch out a little bit further, try to get a few more sealed bids, and maybe re-see this issue in like December. You know, I think it seems to be like now everybody's trying to rush, you know, kind of a knee-jerk reaction to wanting to spend that money, you know. And Mr. Carroll, highly commend you for stepping up and, you know, denying the bid. As, you know, upstanding business, you know, just I feel it needs to be pushed out, you know, revisit it in December or something, you know.
Gail?
This is the second time I've witnessed one entity handling the process, handling the bidding process, sending out the spec and whatnot, and another person coming from the side and getting another bid. And it causes hard feelings. I think the process needs to be backed up, and you decide who's going to send out the bids, who's going to approve the specs, and that one central purchasing agent, which it seems like it's her, handles that process at that point. And to stop this, because if you want somebody to bid, you should be saying to her, send out the bid. And they all go out at the same time, they all get the same spec, and it's all equal and fair. Just saying. Thank you.
At this point, I would be in favor of going to a sealed bid process for this, for the heat pumps for these 3 buildings. And I don't, you know, we can put it in the shopper's guide and send it to HVAC companies from here to, I think, put it in the shopper's guide, send it to the ones we know, and
I'll send it out, I will advertise it. That's what happened, that's what I did. And that's like, we have in our building emergency policy, we work with certain contractors. Like, they're the ones that we call and they come 24/7. Like, that matters. When you guys aren't here and we need something, you know, like, we can call them and they come. We got 2 of their bids. Like, that is big for us. Like, we went outside and got some other bids, but those are the things the outside people, like, those things matter. Like, when we've called on late or first thing in the morning and they send their people. So we get all these other contractors for these different parts of the buildings, and it just makes it more difficult. And we have another contractor to add to our thing. Or if they're not, like, if I was Sean and I didn't put my heat pump in, I would not come and work on it. So then we have another contractor that we have to have on our list of things. So I will absolutely put it in the shopping guide, but I will not put it back out to different, I will not contact companies and do that part again. I did that part, and this is where we're at. We'll absolutely take specs, if Howard wants to do those, and put those out, whoever wants to do that. But if we contacted people that put in heat pumps, they walk to the buildings, they should be able to tell us what size heat pump that room should have. That's what they do. So if one did 15 and one did 9, well then that's what they thought that it needed. That's what they bid, so.
Well, at this point, obviously, I went through, I obviously brought Patrick around. I know where he bid to put the units in the building, in all 3 buildings. I don't know where Sean was gonna put them. Okay, so if it goes out again, it's gonna be spec, where those units are gonna be located, where the heads are gonna be located in the building, and the proper electrical, everything, and not just leave it up and saying, well, they could come in and say, well, we're gonna cut one of these windows out and put the head up there. There's a lot to it. But, I'll tell you, the only reason I went in there on that is because I didn't see it set out. I asked to have Patrick called, he wasn't called, and he's put in 4 units for us. We've never had any problems with them. And when come time for cleaning, whatever, he's right there. So.
Okay, what does the board wish to do?
Put it out to bid with a set of specs. If that's where we're at, that's where we're at. Okay, how many companies came up with the same size unit for the buildings?
3.
3. So put it out. If you got 3 companies the same, put it out to bid, specifying those units. And provide the electrical hookup. That's the only possible way you can do it now. You know, most of those guys know how to figure heat loss, a heat gain, a tonnage, no matter what it is, so.
Now, purely as a citizen here, this isn't rocket science. All of these companies know what they're doing here. You've got the information in front of you, pick a company. If the company that Howard is certainly pushing provides the electrical and the numbers work, pick that company. But as a citizen, I'd hate to see this be another gridlock, logjam, 3-month process. I can tell you right now, we're all close. We all would have done a good job. Who's going to carry on and support these units after they're done? I don't know. You mentioned Mechanical Services, great company, huge company. They do great work. When you had issues with your heat pump here, we were called and we fixed it. We're a service company. We'll never leave the town high and dry. But for this, here and now, I implore you, pick one of these companies and move on with the business that the town, you got more important things to deal with in this town than this issue. You've got qualified bids, minus mine, and I'm fine. I would, again, encourage the board to just choose a company so you can move on. Thank you.
What do we want to do? I don't know. We did choose a company, then the company rescinded their bid. So I mean, I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not gonna dwell on this for an hour. I have places to be. We can push this off, and I can make Facebook for posting another thing off and pushing it down the road. And like I say, I encourage people to run in March. But what do we want to do? Do we want to go out to sealed bid? I'm hearing nothing. I'm moving on. Mowing contracts for the town properties. These are due by 12/1 at noon. We have bid packages and will be advertised next week in the shopping guide. Budget information. We do have some templates to review. These are the select board templates. So the start of them.
So many.
Alicia, and you and I worked on these. Is that some of them?
Some of them but now that we decided 3.5%, some of them are a little bit different or change. Like, and if they're lower numbers, like streetlights, for example, we've budgeted 2675 for the last few years, and we don't come close to that now. Like, we are like within that freaking expense sheet, and of course.
One thing when we're going through these folks, that I know I've talked to Julie about it, is the green sheets have got to correspond with Trio. And right now, they're not.
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know why that is, but it doesn't, they do not correspond as far as how these items are listed, how these departments are
Well, the
listed on
treasurer
Trio.
should take the green sheet.
Yes, John, but that was done way before that started. In other words, she's gonna go all through that, and I know I've done it. I've gone through the entire green sheet, and you go all over the different departments. And you gotta go all, like I said, you gotta go all over the place and hunt for this and hunt for that. If you got item one is going with item one on Trio, it's a very easy process.
So will she provide templates?
There are templates on the computer. Nobody's asked about it.
Has she offered them up?
She told me that she can provide
You're
it.
gonna do the budget. They got a budget committee, and Alicia does ours. I mean, the four of us might as well go home.
This whole thing is
And
insanity.
The four of us might as well go home and just let you do it. I mean, what? I don't get it. If she has budget templates,
all I'm
if she
making
has
is a
budget
suggestion.
templates,
Okay.
if she has budget templates that match her Trio, why wouldn't she give them to the budget committee? Why wouldn't she come to a budget committee meeting? She waits till after the fact. And then, for as far as I know,
She didn't ask me to come up and say that.
okay,
I brought it up because I saw a problem.
as far as I know, every year other than the past couple, when these get voted in, the treasurer takes the green sheet, looks at everything that was voted in yes, and then goes to the computer and says, unemployment insurance is $9,500. That's her budget. That's what the people have given her to expend.
But it has to be entered into the computer.
She does that.
She just wants to see it, so she asked me today, I'll do it, and I'm not gonna have this. It was way easier to just cut and paste and do it. All she wants it to do is match her Trio report, her expense summary. She starts first, then admin, then tax collector, then treasurer, it's just the order, that's it. So she doesn't have to flip pages within the green sheet.
That's the whole bottom line.
I mean, it's just flipping pages,
Gail.
I'll do it, I will do it.
The templates that everybody is using has the full general ledger number on it. Okay, it's all there. It could be transferred to the green sheet if you want it to be,
It's just the order. That's
and
the
then
only-
it's just the order.
It's
When,
just the order.
when you sit down to enter it, does she not have to enter an expense number to get to it, to put the budget in? Yes, yes, yes. So it doesn't matter if those numbers presented to her are not quite in the order she wants. It does not matter.
How about working with somebody?
How about what?
How about working with somebody here?
I-
She asked to have have it done a certain way that'll benefit her since she's dealing with all this.
But it's not going to matter if
But
she...
she asked. You just said she didn't ask anybody. You said you're asking. So who's she working with, other than you?
John, I'm not gonna argue with you.
Well, because you got no argument.
The data entry can be presented to her, and it won't matter the exact order that it's presented to her in, as long as it's complete.
Yes, it does, Gail. It does
I've done
matter
data entry
to
for-
her. She is doing our accounting. So
I
why
wish
not
she
ask her?
would.
Okay. Can we see if Julie can come here next week? I mean,
It's fine, all I need to do is cut and paste. I just need to change the format of the green sheet to match her expense. It's basically just the way it lines up, that's it. So when she flips the expense sheet, the front and the
Are you changing the ballot? Are you changing the ballot?
Well, that's true. I mean, I guess the warrant questions really follow that rule.
It's gonna have to, if you change, the green sheet follows the warrant.
Right, so what she's asking may disturb the way you segmented your ballot into public works and all of that. Okay,
Clearly.
It will.
clearly. Okay, when you do data entry, you're keying in an expense account. She hasn't got it on the green sheet. Put it there for
There's
her.
no numbers on the green sheet.
Right, but that green sheet matches those templates, and those have all been looked up. So that our friends, department heads, have all the expense numbers to put on their invoices or on their purchase orders. It all matches. You take that away, and you're going to skew the whole system. She has the power to recommend a big picture, not just one piece. Go ahead, please, Julie, do that. Okay, please show us how Trio can make the world easy for all of us.
So I would recommend taking these, because I think it would be good to look at the numbers that we currently have in them. There are two, and I'll have the rest of them. There are two questions which would be on the fire station, the old fire station. Last year we did 2,500 for that. I'm not sure exactly how much we want to budget in for that one. But any numbers that are, you'll see I've either done a 3.5% increase to it, or some things are certainly lower, which I've gone off of the DL. And the admin costs, like what we want to put back in for grant writing. But you're welcome to take them, ask any questions, and how I got the number that I got, which is basically I went through with the green sheet, and then, like I said, all of the last expense reports that I had and charts.
Perfect. And we'll come back next week ready to make recommendations.
Yes, and there'll be new ones.
Okay.
We need to move quickly on these.
Discussion of a system administrator. We emailed Chris.
I have not heard a response back yet.
Okay. When did you email him? It was last week sometime.
I think it's
Yeah.
more than that, so yeah, I'll follow up again.
Thank you. And we're going to wait another week with further discussion of the
Yeah,
phone
so-
company.
Yeah, so putting together an Excel spreadsheet to the 3 buildings that we have, trying to see exactly what each building we pay for a month, to see where we stand with the phone and internet, see if it's worth getting another order on.
That is all I have for new business, or for old business. For new business, we have discussion of a new auditing firm. There's a list provided by MMA, and we need to pick one, as our current auditing firm is done working with us as of December 31st. I don't know,
We don't just pick one.
well, we have to, yeah, we go out.
There's also, I gave you a, RFP, like a start filling, you're welcome to look, those changes, updates, anything you wanna see that I don't have, anything else they should do, not do.
Well, we obviously ought to be picking one that's in southern Maine, because a lot of these are all up north.
Yep.
2 in Portland, 1 in South Portland, 2 in South Portland, 1 in Scarborough.
So does this request for proposal look good? Sure, Steve.
Steve McLean. In your RFP, does it say when we'd like to have the audit completed by? I think that's an important thing to.
I don't see it,
I
but
mean, you guys can discuss it, but certainly shouldn't be the following November or December, you know what I mean? Maybe by April 1st or something, so we have something to go by. If we have to adjust things at the half-year mark or something.
Yep.
And is there any update on when our current firm will be able to get us?
The last email that we had today is that they are still waiting for information from Julie, correct? That is what I saw. So,
Look and see what you want to add to that or make changes.
yeah.
It's on your like section, so that's just for you.
Discussion of appointments. Tax collector and town clerk. Does somebody want to talk? I don't know what this is
So
about.
the town clerk and tax collector have both made it publicly known that this is their last term, and they will be leaving in March. So our options, and as far as I know, they have not hired anybody as of yet. They had an assistant, and as of yet, they haven't hired anybody as an assistant. I think the hope was that at some point, that assistant may take over. I don't know, that was a thought, but I'm not going to speak for anybody else. So they're leaving in March. As it stands right now, whatever day we vote in March, Friday would be their last day, and whoever is on the ballot and puts the name on there gets to come in Monday and figure it out. That being said, I know we've gone this road before. I still think we need a special town meeting to have a vote, to appoint those positions instead of electing them, and we need to do it quickly. Hopefully, the people will understand that how important this is, that those positions have a job description, a pay range, and they come on as town employees, and they would be able to be interviewed, vetted, and the best candidates hired for the positions, as opposed to just voting somebody in. The townspeople certainly have voted this down before, and they seem to like the election process. If that's the way it goes, that's the way it goes. That Monday morning, we end up with whoever's in there. So I make a motion, we hold a special town meeting at the next earliest possible date to change the positions of tax collector and town clerk from elected to appointed.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I think when we develop the criteria we want, we have at least one outside person with knowledge of what those positions require.
Do you think it would be beneficial to maybe do a hiring committee and ask the neighboring towns' tax collectors,
That's
town
what I'm
clerks?
getting into. You need at least one member on the outside that knows what these positions entail.
Because I know a lot happens in that office, but I don't feel confident in hiring somebody for that.
I don't either.
Could we ask the current
Yeah,
tax collector, I mean, the people that have worked this office, not the outside office, if they'd be willing to be part of the hiring committee? Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but it certainly would be the two best people to be on there.
I still think you
If we're
need one
going-
outside
If we're
person.
going out for a vote, that should be at the annual town meeting, not a special town meeting. Special town meetings are notorious in this town for trying to slide something under the rug.
So what are we gonna do if
The
we don't
issue
have
with
somebody
that-
qualified?
So
We're
what do
not
you,
gonna
so,
have somebody
so you do
qualified.
it in 3 years from now?
If that's what it takes, we do it.
Hey, you're gonna be doing it without me, so it doesn't
People
make
have
any
already
difference.
voted twice, John, not to do this.
Probably more than twice, I agree. I don't,
All right, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? All right, it passes. Do we need wording for the
so
article question?
we need to come up with for next week, we should have an article question to start the process, get the dates, and then we need to work on the job description, which I'm happy to help with. There are some outside people that have worked on some. The Charter Commission had them, they had job descriptions when they went through the process, so.
I've got some templates here. I went to the Charter Commission and got some. I've
Good,
already
yeah.
got it. Everybody should have copies in their folders. Just to start.
Yes, they are
You can
here.
adjust it however you want.
All right.
Is everything good with the, I'd like to put that up, the director description, job description. Just after that, I know you emailed it, but
Got it right here.
I think Bernie said he was okay.
I did see that, yeah, I'm good
Just
with that.
like from Greg, a couple of things changed, but I did ask him clearly, and he knows that's what he.
And I noticed, I did see a few people reached out. Did any of them,
I responded to them.
did they respond back? or
Nobody responded back. I think they thought it was a full-time,
Paid,
like paid
Okay.
position with benefits. So when I explained that it was a very part-time with a small stipend, I did not get a response from either one.
I just wanna put this, like, we wanna put out, like, now we have a position overview, like, on our Facebook and website.
would it be beneficial to do it in the shopping guide too?
Yeah, I'm happy
Okay.
to do whatever.
Just as long as people understand what it is.
Well, that's why, I
Yeah.
mean, it's just.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
You know,
Yeah.
part-time positions typically 10 or 20 hours a week. They're the seasonally.
I would even say it's less than, is this the stipend amount? We should include that.
We can, I think that you,
Because at 10 to 20 hours a week, I would think that that's a paid hourly.
that stipend in that budget has been increased from
Okay.
last year.
That was increased?
The stipend position was increased, because they're planning, because they're both getting done, so I think he put that into one.
One stipend?
I believe so.
And his budget was still down $6,000 or
His
$9,000?
budget was definitely down, but that stipend position was increased. What went up? Yes, but the budget itself was not.
So we're gonna up the stipend to pay the person more money and give them less money to work with to do stuff for the rec department. Sounds like a great plan.
So director stipend one, $8,000. We only had two last year.
So
I
we-
think that, hold on a second, let me get my.
It was 3 and 2,
So it's five?
I believe.
Yep, five.
They took 3 and 2 between them.
Yeah, well, they had two activity directors each at 1,000, and then he got 3. So in the total budget, yeah, he's done, it's 36, it was 44.
Didn't he make major purchases last year that he doesn't have to make this year?
No, they've bought nothing.
The playground wasn't a major purchase?
That was a separate capital
Yeah.
account.
Okay.
The last thing was the bleachers. That was
That
3 years ago.
And that was not in their operating budget either. That
He
was,
went down on his supplies significantly. Supplies was 12 last year, and he put 4 this year. And
Still gotta
that's
take the
big change.
pickleball court out of that too.
That's this year, that was this year's. That's already out of the budget this year. So, do you want to put, do you want
Well, if the
to-
stipend's changing, I don't think we can, it's going to be hard to advertise a certain stipend, and if it gets voted down, and the person's no longer interested. So I just think we just need to be transparent that it's a stipend position and that it's not an hourly position.
Yeah. Well, it is, I mean, technically, the stipend's up, but the budget itself is down significantly. There's no 3.5% in that budget. So I don't know why there would be,
He didn't know about the 3.5 either. He turned it.
but still, you're not gonna now, I mean, go.
I can have a conversation with him. I'll have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
I think he's my department. I don't.
Well, I just think if we say 3.5% increase, you get a 3.5% increase in your budget, and you keep down, then you should be able to work.
Yeah. All right. I open it to hearing of citizens. Okay.
We received a letter from EcoMaine, and I did a little research on it, but I think we should have a meeting and ask one of the representatives to come and discuss what they're asking us to do. He says, I also want to mention that EcoMaine is now offering a buy-in option in case communities would like to become an owner community. Right now, we're associate members. We're not owner members. There is an upfront buy-in cost, but EcoMaine has structured it so it's manageable for communities wanting to go in that direction. We recently had 7 communities become owners. Happy to talk more if you're interested in exploring that option. I have no idea what the buy-in cost would be, but I have to say it's going to be tens of thousands of dollars to buy into it. So our current household waste and recycling contracts are good with EcoMaine until 2028. At that time, if we're not owner members, we'd have to negotiate new contracts. But as far as right now, I did the research. Our tipping fees for municipal solid waste, right now we're paying $86.88. If you're an owner or part owner of EcoMaine, it's $107.50.
That sounds backwards.
Single-sort recycling right now is $133.15. But the owner, if you're an owner, they only charge $85. So that goes in the other direction. Right now, we're paying $116.50 for our burnable demo, what we call OBW. And their charge right now is $107.50. The biggie here is the municipal solid waste. I've done the math. We'd save a little bit on single sort. We'd save a little bit on the OBW with the lower tipping fees. But we will save $25,720 if we're not a member paying for our household waste. Now, I'm not sure of any of the other perks or something that they can offer the town being a member. That's why I suggest that we get in touch with EcoMaine, have a representative come and tell us what the advantages are.
When did we negotiate the 8688?
Our one for household waste was a 10-year, so that would have been 2018.
So I'd like to know if you were not a owner member, what do other towns pay for household waste today?
At that time?
No, what if you negotiated a contract today? It's probably gonna be over the 107.50.
Could be. Yeah,
That makes sense, right?
Could very well be.
We're sitting on a 10-year-old rate.
That's right.
I mean, when we go to do this in 2028, that number might be 200 for all we know.
Yeah. The only thing I can say is in 2018 and the one prior to that, it wasn't that much of a difference. They went on the, what do they call it? Consumer Price Index. Right now, they could go up on our rates right now up to 7% a year, according to our contract. But from November of 2024 until November of 2025, they've gone up $6 on us, and that's only a 2.45% interest rate. They haven't been charging us the 7% that they could. That's all I can tell you. So I think we need a representative here to discuss this.
Do you have a contact at EcoMaine?
Yes.
Would you be able to reach out and see when they'd be available?
Yeah,
Or I can reach out, whatever.
yeah,
But I do agree that we should probably meet with them about that.
yeah. It's going to be a serious thing in the future.
Yeah,
We're all set till 2028, but we have no idea what they'll do at that point.
yep.
But I can tell you one thing, it's going to go up a lot. And the other thing, I just needed, we've had an offer on 2 containers down there, but one of them I recommend that we keep because our new guy, Gary, wants to start taking out the #1 steel and taking that out of the big pile, because we can get a lot more money for it if it's prepared, and he'll do the same thing with the copper. He'll prepare it so that we get the highest possible price rather than leave it in a pile. And we can use one of those containers to put the #1 steel in. And we'd have to haul that ourselves. It wouldn't go with Grimmel, but we could make a lot more money doing it that way.
Okay.
But the one that we could sell, there's an offer of $600.
And that's been advertised for a while, correct?
Yeah, if we advertise it, the last time, I think it cost like $100 to advertise it, and we ended up selling it for $450, so
Yeah, okay.
this guy has a use for it,
Yeah,
and I don't want to spend $100 to advertise it and have this one person that wants it, so,
is that considered a town asset? Are we allowed
yeah.
us to choose to sell it, or does that have to go to a?
Well, he'd have to put in a bid, I think. He did the last time. The same person
Well, I
didn't
mean,
get it the
we had to go
last
to a
time.
town vote to donate a thing, to give away a thing.
Yeah.
So I'd assume we have to
Oh.
go to town vote to
Yeah.
sell a thing,
Yeah,
but we're not allowed to give it away?
People get antsy and get stuff away.
Okay.
so you can decide what you want to do.
Yeah,
but there's an offer for $600, and it's not roadworthy. He's going to have to hire a flatbed to move it
Okay,
because the sides are collapsing away from the floor.
okay, perfect.
Joanne, before you leave, I've had a lot of people asking, wasn't Gary supposed to be backing off from working down there after Columbus Day?
No,
That's what I understood he was when we hired him.
no, you hired him for so many weeks. And that will be up towards the end of November.
All right. I open it to hearing of citizens.
Steve McLean, on the lowering on Secocas Lake, does anyone have any idea how long it'll be low?
I think the last email that I saw about that was approximately it would be low for 3 weeks, from what I understood, and then it will be, hopefully, it will be back to its normal level by mid-November.
Okay, because when it's low like this, the fire water pump at the mill building will not work to help support the sprinkler system in case of an event. So that's just something that we ought to know.
Now would be a good time for him to have that inlet cleaned out around that sprinkler pump.
I agree with you.
I don't think that's been done for
No,
30-plus years.
yep. But
So now would be the time to have him.
yeah, there's a big, big thing about that fire pump. It's all been all up and certified working again, but there's no water to get into that, so it's something when the lake is low, we gotta be cautious of. And the other thing for even the fire department, for us, it's gonna be hard to get water out of the lake, because we're gonna have to be, like we usually set up for the Labor Day parade there on that bank, and there's no way we'd even come close with 5 lengths of hose into the lake, so. Yes, hopefully, like I said, 2 or 3 weeks, they'll have it back up.
We have to go to the boat launch, use a floating strainer like we've done before. They used to have a floating strainer.
About the only town would be Cornish with a front-mounted pump that could actually get out to the water. Sideways, the water's way away.
Yeah, but if you put enough lengths, you can put a floating strainer out there and do it. You just have to run more lengths of suction hose.
Is there any other hearing of citizens? I'm seeing none. I look for a motion to adjourn. All those in favor? All right, thank you.
Sign that.